An alien girl surviving on the streets returns a diplomat's fallen wallet. What followed left the world astonished. Rain trickled over the neon-washed avenues of Orphan Prime, a crowded nexus of interstellar commerce beneath towering hollow ads and gleaming sky bridges. A frail figure crouched in the ruins of a cracked archway. Her name was Sira, though hardly anyone ever used it. Her lavender-tinted skin and eyes laced with silver exposed her as Valen, a race honored in speeches, but neglected in reality. She had endured these streets as long as her memory stretched, scavenging scraps from stalls and stealing warmth from broken exhaust vents. That night, hunger carved at her ribs. She slipped into a bustling square, darting through the throng with practiced ease. Wealthy traders, envoys, and off-world nobles paraded in silks and gems, their luxury mocking the rags on her body and her bare feet. She was about to vanish back into the alleys when something strange caught her attention. A thick leather wallet lay beneath the glow of a drifting lantern. Crowds surged past, blind to it. Sira froze, staring. To her, it was a treasure chest, enough credits to buy food for weeks, perhaps even pay for a bed. Her hand twitched. Slowly, she picked it up. The crest stamped on its cover sent her pulse racing, the seal of the Galactic Diplomatic Corps. Whoever it belonged to was influential, perhaps even dangerous. She slid it open just enough to glimpse an ID. Ambassador Kalen Dro, human, one of the most powerful envoys on Orphan Prime. For a heartbeat, temptation burned inside her. She could vanish into the underground, spend the credits, and no one would track her down. Yet another thought struck harder. If caught holding a diplomat's property, punishment would not be mercy. It might mean she disappeared forever. And buried beneath her survival instincts, a quieter voice whispered it was wrong. She chose. She would return it. Reaching him was no simple task. Security checkpoints bristled with armed soldiers, and the glittering towers of the diplomatic quarter were no place for a gutter child. But Sira was quick, clever, invisible to those who refused to see her. She slipped into maintenance tunnels, climbed broken stairwells, and finally stood before the marble stairs of the Grand Embassy Hall. 2 guards instantly lowered rifles in her path. "State your business," one barked. Her voice shook, but she forced words out. I found something for Ambassador Dro. Their eyes narrowed until she raised the wallet. The emblem gleamed under the lantern glow. Both stiffened, muttering into comms. Within moments, the towering doors swung open, and she was escorted inside. The hall stole her breath, gilded pillars, stained glass skylights, floors polished bright as the heavens above. Sira felt smaller than ever, a ragged shadow against such brilliance. At the far end stood a tall man with graying hair, stern eyes, and calm authority. Ambassador Kalen Dro turned as she approached. "What is this?" His voice was measured, yet the guard's unease betrayed their tension. Sira stepped closer, clutching the wallet. "It fell in the plaza. I thought you should have it back." She stretched out her hand. Silence lingered before Kalen took it. He opened it, checked the contents, then lifted his gaze. His expression softened. "You could have kept it. Most would." Sira swallowed. "I thought about it, but it wasn't mine." The guard smirked, expecting her dismissal. Instead, Kalen crouched until his eyes met hers. "Your name?" "Sira," she whispered. "And where do you live, Sira?" Her lips quivered. "Nowhere." His gaze swept her torn clothes, the bruises under grime, her thin frame. Anger flickered in his eyes, not toward her, but at the injustice she bore. "Then tonight," he said firmly, "you will not sleep outside." The guards shifted nervously as he rose. "Prepare a guest suite." "But sir, that is an order." His tone ended protest. That night, Sira lay in a bed softer than dreams, wrapped in sheets perfumed with lavender and warmth. She barely dared to close her eyes, terrified it would vanish. In the morning, Kalen returned. Over breakfast, he listened. She told him of the Valen border wars, of being orphaned, of how no one had cared enough to keep her safe. She expected pity, maybe disdain. Instead, Kalen listened with patience, carrying the gravity of many worlds. You chose honesty when no one was watching, he told her at last. That matters. More than you realize. Weeks later, her story burned across Orphan Prime. A forgotten alien child had returned a diplomat's wallet, and instead of punishment, he sheltered her. Syrah became a symbol of mercy, proof the gulf between humans and Valen could narrow. But for her, the true miracle was simpler. She was no longer invisible. She had a name, a bed, someone who saw her as a person. And it all began with one decision: to return what wasn't hers. As time passed, her world transformed beyond imagination. No longer did she huddle in alleys against stone. Instead, she walked embassy halls, head held higher each day. Servants nodded in respect, and Kaelin ensured she studied, dressed, and lived with dignity. What shocked people most wasn't that a diplomat sheltered a beggar. It was how he spoke of her in councils. He called her a living reminder of what leaders ignored. He told envoys her honesty had shaken him more than any treaty. One child with nothing, he said, chose truth over survival. How can we, with power, do less? The words echoed beyond the embassy. Merchants, once hostile, now shared food. Children who mocked her skin now asked her to play. Her choice rippled outward, igniting debates on justice, dignity, and unseen lives in Orphan Prime. One evening, Kaelin brought her to a balcony overlooking the galaxy of lights. "You've altered my life, Syrah," he said quietly. "I thought my duty was agreements. Instead, I want to build bridges between those who fear each other. And I want you to help me." Her silver-flecked eyes widened. Once invisible, she was now asked to help shape a brighter future. Tears blurred her vision as she whispered, "Yes." For the first time, she realized she was not merely surviving, she was beginning to live.